want to talk about defense a little bit? You
A
want to get
lot
defensive?
comes to that left side. And we got
What's
two left.
that? Yeah.
It comes to that left side. You have two lefties. Think that pressure comes in, you can maybe roll. I don't know.
I got to be honest with you. Uh, I think that the left hand, because if you remember right, Pat didn't roll out to his left as much as he did to his right.
Yeah.
Pat White. And with a little bit of quarterback experience, I got to say I don't know that you like if Henderson and the line is more comfortable rolling left, that's fine. Most right-handed quarterbacks can throw that way. I don't like as long as you're not asking them to make huge long
Yeah.
downfield throws. I think the shorter stuff, the just to keep the chains moving, they can do that.
Yeah, just square your shoulders up and
Yeah.
I don't know. So, for the back half of this show, let's talk about Utah. So Utah is coming off of a tough loss. They were ranked. I don't believe they're ranked anymore. I think they dropped out of the top 25. The top 25 now, I got to pull it back up, but I had it. I know we have Texas Tech in there. Kansas State's in there. I think Kansas State's in there. Let's see what the new one is. We got BYU at 25, TCU at 24, Texas Tech at 12. So that's where we stand as Big 12 conference members. Iowa State at 14. Iowa State dropped 2. They're 4-0. That looks like a hell of a good team. Now, with that, you have BYU at 3-0, TCU at 3-0. That TCU game, I said it was winnable. It's 50-50. I think TCU, just because of their Horned Frogs, yeah, they have warts, but I think that might be a game that West Virginia in the past, TCU has come to Morgantown in the past and stole some wins when they weren't supposed to. And West Virginia's done the same against TCU when they're ranked. So that's the closest thing to a rivalry since Texas moved out for West Virginia. So I'm thinking, what out of all these games, what's the one that stands out as Eric? You have to watch it. You can't miss that game on the schedule. So you got TCU, you got Houston, Utah, Colorado, Texas Tech. These games coming up.
As far as the highest ranked, most talented team that I think we could pull an upset on, I think you got a point maybe with TCU.
Yeah.
As far as the one I wouldn't want to miss, Colorado, because I think that's a home game. That's when we have a really good chance. I think there's going to be a number of different storylines there. We already had a little bit of a experience playing them back from the Stu era. That's the one I'd want to watch. Now you're talking about the UCF game as if it's a done deal. Not so fast, my friend.
Yeah, true.
The bounce house is a tough place to play. That stadium, that student body, they get jacked. They get that place really rocking. But I would say the best matchup that I think we have a shot at, TCU. That could be, if we pull that one off, that's going to be the high point of the season. The one I think is going to be the most interesting, and it may just be me personally, Colorado. I think we got a real good shot to beat them. And the one on the road, I mentioned UCF, but the one I want to see, we owe Houston. We owe them. I want to beat those guys so bad.
Yeah, Houston, I'm going to talk about a game to win just to make you feel like you're bigger and badder than you actually are. And they're currently not ranked. And that would be November 15th. traveling out to Arizona to play Arizona State. Arizona, man, I don't think the West Virginia Mountaineers have much of a chance. But if Rich Rod manages to go out there and steal that against, Arizona's 3-1, and they played Baylor tough last game or a week or two ago, and I think it was like 27-24. It was a good game, but they did lose to Mississippi State as their only loss. It wasn't a blowout. It was within a score, and it was close until late. I just don't know how good Arizona State is. I mean, Arizona State's going to play this week. They're going to play TCU, and we'll have a little better feel because between the time we play them, Utah's going to play them, and TCU's going to play them. So that's one I have circled too. I'm glad that West Virginia doesn't play Iowa State. And that they play Texas Tech the last game of the year. But
So what are you thinking? The Arizona State matchup.
I'm thinking that's one that West Virginia, it's the one that if they could pull that off, if anything on this schedule, if they can just pull off a victory, I think that would be a statement game. Texas Tech would be a statement game. And of course, any of these ranked teams would be a great statement. I think right now, if you're a Mountaineer fan, you're not playing for bowls. You're playing to beat a ranked team. And as soon as a ranked team rolls around and it's on your schedule, that's your Super Bowl, that's your Sugar Bowl, that's your Fiesta Bowl, that's your, Pinstripe Bowl. That's what the Mountaineers, as fans, that's what we need to look forward to. Getting that signature ranked win. Now, I think Edwards is definitely the key. Finding a nice rhythm at quarterback, because 93 they had Jake the Snake and Darren Studstill, and they traded snaps. You had two quarterbacks as co-starters. Jake would usually start it. Then you'd have Darren Studstill that was dual threat come in, maybe in a series where they're in the red zone or they need a spark, and then Jake the Snake be able to air it out. It seems to be more prevalent now than it was back then. But Texas Tech, on the other hand, I keep going to Texas Tech, but their backup came in and he looked like the second coming of Joe Namath. I mean, son of a gun. I mean, but Jake,
and that happens a lot of times because a defense will plan and prepare for one quarterback. And if this backup is good but just different, they got to figure that out on the fly. And you can't usually do that. It usually takes at least maybe 2 possessions to figure that out. So, yeah.
A.S. Rawls says, I'd like to see Kalik Wilkins.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was in for a little bit, but, not enough to really know what's happening. And, with sports, getting in for a series, you can't get a good pulse of what the player can do because they have to get into a rhythm. They have to feel the flow of the game. Just throwing them in there, that's rough. I think it's harder to come in after a series or two than it is just to play maybe 2 series starting out because the game warms up with you. But son of a gun, coming in cold in maybe the 4th, 5th, or even the second half like this, 6 or 7 series of offense you have, that's rough. That's rough for a player. But Eric, to close the show out, what thoughts do you have? What thoughts do you have? What's on your sheet? Let me pull up your sheet here.
I got something great for everybody in the chat for Thursday.
Okay.
And that is, being that we're probably not going to have Edwards, Jaheim's out, probably not going to have Bowers. Who do you put in? Who starts at quarterback?
Ooh.
And so, that I think is going to be, look, again, I'm a Nico fan, but he is not fleet of foot enough. And so I think that's something we really need to think about. Is this the game that Henderson starts? And then if you do the game like the quarterback shuffle, who do you put in? Do you put in Scotty Fox? Do you put Nico back in?
Yeah.
Khalil? I think he showed he's got some potential to do some things early in his career.
Yeah, and then I also thought of this, and I wrote it in my notebook. Is there a possibility that there's that old saying, two is one and one is none? But also, he's divvying up reps to multiple guys. Could those reps be utilized with one or two guys? Is he wasting reps on guys that are not going to really see the field? That's my thought. Week 4 or 5 going into the season, there's only so many reps that you have during a practice, and for these guys to not get those reps, is that going to hurt the Mountaineers in the long run? I don't know.
Good question. That'll be something good to cover for Thursday.
No, I know. So what's going on, Leo? You're right. We talked about Max Brown. We don't know why. Mountaineer Paul's big on him. He did a show about 10 days ago on Max Brown with our friend from the Voice of College Football Alabama channel, Jackson Johnson. So shout out to Jackson Johnson, his Alabama channel. Then he has a show called The Jacksonian. This guy's like a sports encyclopedia. Like, he is my crutch. If I'm on a show with him, like, what happened? What was the score of this Alabama game in 1999? He's like, oh yeah, well it was this. What? Like, literally, I can't remember the last time I never go on a turnpike, okay, and I don't have Easy Pass. I couldn't remember if I paid my $8 or not. So I got like a letter in the mail saying, you owe 28 now. See, I can't remember that stuff. That's what's important. And I can't remember games. These people with these memories, it's crazy. But Jacksonian, and also the Alabama Voice of College Football channel, this guy is smarter than a whip. But he was on Mountaineer Paul's show last week, and I have to actually Saturday after the Pitt game talking, and Max Brown was brought up, and they're big on Max Brown. And watching tape back to when he was at Florida, if you guys are bored and if you're a sweaty football nerd, go in, watch the tape. This guy has a nice quick release. The tape from last year when he was at a rinky-dink little school, not so good because he didn't get much pass protection, threw a lot of interceptions. But go back 2 years, he looked pretty sharp playing some ball down at Florida against SEC schools. Real quick release. But, sorry, going down that rabbit hole. Hate to do that. But, Kelly, what do you have to say? Combination Nico and Fox in my thought. So, Kelly McCourt's strong on the Nico Fox. I think, Eric, you brought this up. I'll let you carry this ball after I bring it up. Nico must have finish the sentence. What?
A fast running back to team up with him.
Yeah. So, Nico, I think, has to have like an Edwards. I think once Edwards comes back, that's what you marry him up. I think Fox, you could put him in with any other running back. I think that's the recipe for success until the line woes are fixed, which I don't think they're going to be remedied this year. I think because Livingston is out at center, it kind of makes things just a little bit tougher on the O-line. Because as we know, Zach Frazier, Wyatt Millum, these guys were the cornerstone of the line. You got to have that center. He's the linchpin. But I don't know. This was a great show, Eric. We're back on Thursday.
One more thing for the chat. Yeah. Let's watch to see when Perry comes back. Let's see the effect he has on defense. He's been our most effective player on what has been an outstanding defense this year. I think they were missing him against Kansas after he got disqualified. Let's see the effect that he has on the defense when he comes back in. I'll throw something else out to the fans. Again, we want to, Thursday's about everybody contributing, and we want to hear more from them. What do you guys think about Jalen running maybe a variation, focusing more on a running offense, maybe even an RPO kind of stuff, and rolling him out?
you know what? This is probably stuff that Rich Rod is over at Applebee's right now, writing on a bar napkin, trying to figure out. Because what is it, like 10 o'clock? Is that time he rolls into Applebee's? But A.S. Rawls says, I'm out on Nico. So he's out on Nico and this offense. The quarterback has three choices: hand it off, keep it, throw it. With him, you can't off to Ash, come to Flo, and then you keep it because you're too slow. Yeah, that rhymes. That's fun. Yeah, Rawls, that's a good one. Afton says, thank you, guys. And then Rawls, is Perry going to miss the first half? I think he's just out for that game. I'll have to look at the rules, but I think he's just out for that game. I think he can start. He is a big contributor. Guys, we basically we hurt ourselves, pat ourselves on the back on how good the defense was. This week, the defense took a big dookie. I hate to say it. I love Zach Alley, but he didn't have any help offensively. His guys were out there the whole time. So if you look at the numbers lie. It still is a top 25 defense. It's just you have to have some help from the offense. You can't be out there for 40, 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't.
No. Nope.
So, yeah, and you guys haven't shit on the defense this week, but I've heard other shows taking a big old poop on our defense. It's not fair.
Okay. I agree, man. Not fair. In particular, I think we really tanked after Perry left. I think that, he left the game early in the second. Well, not early in the second, but he left the game early. Still ended up as the leading tackler for the game for us. We rely on him every single game.
Yeah, Jersey Ear says it should be good to go. It happened the second quarter. So, literally, he'll miss maybe a quarter, if that. I think you miss a full game. So he'll sit out for a quarter and then be able to start the second quarter. Yeah, if it would have happened in the third or fourth quarter, it would have been a different story. But, Utah, my wife works with a West Virginia alum, and I'm giving my tickets to those two. They're going to go to the game. I have homecoming this week. Going to be watching kids get dressed up and, looking all spiffy this weekend. And I guess, when I was in school, homecoming game was Saturday. The homecoming night was that night. And you were sore and you're dancing and you're didn't feel frisky after because you felt like dog crap because you just played a ball game, right? So, anyways, just saying. So Saturday, I'm planning on watching my kid get ready for the homecoming dance and maybe trying to watch a little bit of football there. But football, man, Fridays is a high school, Saturdays is college, and then Sunday watch a little NFL. Luckily, I just watched the Mountaineers mostly, watch a couple other college games, just watch the Steelers, and just watch my kids' high school. If I watched any more, I would be literally, I don't know, living in a van down by the river.
It's funny, Shane. We talked about other games to watch. I think I called for the Oregon State game. Don't sleep on that. No, you should have slept on that one.
Yeah.
Oregon State out of the Pac-2 really got it handed to them.
That's unfortunate.
But it is. I really like that program. I want them to be good. I want them in the Big 12.
No. The fact that it's just a neat little town, Corvallis, and it's so literally it has to be 25 miles from Eugene. It's not that far, guys. It's literally the distance from Clarksburg to Morgantown. These two places. And if any place has a feel like West Virginia, not like Pennsylvania, these two places feel like they could you could literally take the people and take the place and just put it in let's just wipe Polka off the map and let's wipe Kingwood off the map and we'll just put, Eugene in there and guys, that's pretty much what you have. Now Eugene has a nicer airport than say Charleston, but anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in, hanging out with us. It's been a fun time. As you know, this is our maybe 10th episode. maybe the fifth one with Eric, maybe sixth. But we're hitting our stride. Mountaineers, we hope, are hitting their stride. And guys, I hope you like and subscribe. This is the West Virginia Live channel, Voice of College Football, West Virginia.